All right, this is Windjammer, and I'm coming from New Mexico. I'm at the TJ Corral Trailhead in the Gila Wilderness, about to start what will definitely be 3 days, maybe even 4 days in the Gila Wilderness. So the whole loop I'm doing is about 36 miles, but I know where I'm gonna camp tonight and tomorrow. And this will be about 12 miles each. So depending on that last day, how things go, how I'm feeling, I might come on out that third day, or I might stay another night. I have some flexibility with that. However, I have an idea brewing, and I'm thinking if I can get out that last day, that third day, then maybe get to like Las Cruces, I might be close enough for a free day to not only hit White Sands National Park, but also Carlsbad Cavern National Park. That's a very aggressive itinerary, so we'll see how it goes. But it seems plausible in my mind. But anyway, it's about time to get started. I actually drove down this little visitor center about a half mile down the road, which I'm actually gonna be walking back to start on the West Fork Trailhead. Then I'm gonna make a big loop around to here. But there's a really cool shop there. Bought some goodies for Lyric, bought a coffee mug for me. I collect those. And yeah, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining like only New Mexico can. It's so hot. It's a very different sun than Mississippi somehow. But anyway, all right, get my pack and hit the trail. Well, just on that little trail. But speaking of road walks, the drive in here, it's about an hour and a half. There's a little warthog thing over there. See if you can see that in the grass. I don't know if those are, oh, there's one. Javelinas or the actual hogs. Either way, I don't really want to mess with them. Those things can be mean. Oh, there's a pack of them. Yeah, definitely don't want to mess with those dudes. Anyway, so beautiful drive in. It's about 50 miles, but it takes about an hour and a half or so. And it's called like the Byway of the Mountain Spirits, something like that. Yeah, it's beautiful. So if you don't hike, it's worth the drive in. Anyway, get away from me, Javelinas. I don't know, he's in there somewhere. There's like 6 or 7 of them. Okay, well, I didn't realize right by that little gift shop, visitor center, there's a little 1 mile loop trail that goes up to the Gila cliff dwellings. So, I mean, obviously I'm gonna have to do that, right? Pardon the sun. I didn't put it there. So, it's just 1 mile. It's 10 o'clock right now, so I'm gonna bang this dude out. And then actually hop on my trail because I got 12 miles to go today. So better hurry it up. You can't pass, cliff dwellings. I mean, come on. You'll probably see them next. This is awesome. I love stuff like this. Okay. I need to go get on my trail. Well, that was 1,000% worth it. That was freaking awesome. You got to walk all up in there. I wasn't expecting that. Thought I just looked from the top. Super cool. So anyway, I'm almost back. That little section, that little front area. Gonna collect my backpack and actually start on my trip. So, 12 miles to go. Hoping to get to a point called Hell's Hole today. Like I said, it's about 12 miles away. From what I've read, there's over 100 water crossings on this loop I'm gonna be taking. So we'll see how much that slows me down. Yeehaw. And here we are, starting on the West Fork Trail. And I'll be heading to Hell's Hole, which is just over 12 miles. Graveside in a mile. We'll see you there. All right, let's roll. I love open field areas like that. That is beautiful. Yeah, so what's your name?
I'm Jerry.
Mind if I get? Hey, Jerry. Met somebody on the trail here. That is beautiful. Here's the graveyard for William Grudgings, waylaid and murdered. What do you say that? Waylaid and murdered by Tom Wood in 1893. Son of a bitch.
Wow. What's the other one say? Is this where his feet are?
Yeah, I think that's just his foot.
Oh,
That's pretty.
I'll be damned.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
That's game right there.
Looks like we're heading down that way.
Mile this morning, so
You turning it around?
I'm gonna probably head back. I got a 4-hour drive after this, so yeah. I think I'll just take a little break here and get on back. It was a pleasure sharing the trail with you.
Very nice to meet you too.
You have a
Got the camera going, so this is
Oh.
the end of Jerry. How's it gonna water crossing
I
here?
wish I had my sunglasses on. Maybe people are gonna recognize me.
Yeah, I won't post it. You want me to?
No, it's fine.
All right.
It's perfect light. Again, what was it? Windjammer?
Wildest Windjammer.
www.
Yep. Yeah, give it a look.
I shall. I shall.
Be safe getting to Alaska.
Thank you. And you have a good trip.
That's the end of Jerry. He's heading back. See ya. Well, that was the end of the trail for Jerry. He was just hiking a couple miles in and turning around, and he's a chef on his way from Mexico to Alaska. Gonna make a few stops along the way. That's pretty cool. Really nice guy. So now it's back to just me out here. I saw a sign a minute ago. 10 miles to go. Will you look at that? I was just crossing one of the many little water crossings and just happened to look up. I would have walked right by it. It's another cliff dwelling up there. Wow, man, that's incredible. How did they even get up in there? Jeez. That is awesome. Anyway, here's where I'm at. And another one. They only come up to mid-shin so far. That's probably gonna be the gist of it. Whoa, knee. That one came up to knee. Oh, but that was awesome. I'd like to get up there, but I don't know how to do that. And that would expend a lot of energy. Super cool. Well, one thing about the West Fork Trail, if you ever start getting hot, don't you worry about a thing. There's a water crossing coming. I don't know how many I've done so far, but it feels great. I mean, it's actually pretty cool, welcoming to get one. So let's get across. It's amazing. That is beautiful. You see these canyons on both sides. Just massive. Look at those cliff walls. That is such a unique look. Really cool. I think, see the trail there. I'm about 7.5 miles into the West Fork Trail. And I think as I get a little closer in there, the canyon walls are gonna tighten up. I believe that's what I remember from the map. But I'm not gonna stop to break the map out right now. We will find out. You didn't think we were done with those, did you? So, I'm not too far away from Hell's Hole. Maybe 1.5 miles. Hopefully that's all. I realized with the half mile I put in walking the road to start from where I'm going to finish instead of the West Fork Trailhead, and then doing the 1.5 mile Cave Dwellings Trail, which is still 100% worth it. I added on a bit, so I think I'm at like 13.5 miles now, and it was 12.5 from the trailhead, so it might even be a little more than realized, but I'm slowly but surely getting there. All right. Well, the closer I get to Hell's Hole Canyon, the trail gets a little more wild. Just still easy in terms of, pace. It's just kind of a simple walk, but you got to pay more attention because it's just not as visible as it was. And all the cairns are going on the water crossings. And poison ivy is getting pretty close to the trail. So a few extra things to really pay attention to. So I'm 14 and a half miles in according to all trails, and it looks like I still got at least a mile to go. So I don't know, maybe that was a little off. Not too bad. But it's about 4 o'clock. Still got plenty of time and I'll make it. Kind of getting hungry though. No kinda about it. Oh man, straight up. Well, the trail has gotten definitely much harder. I'm been bushwhacking a lot, but I gotta be close. Gotta be. I am legitimately tired. Well, somewhere along the bushwhacking, I lost the trail. But I know this water leads to where I'm going. So I'm just going right down the middle of it for a moment. And I'm watching the sides too because I'm sure that the trail's gonna cross over in a minute and I'll pick it back up. But for right now, I just said, screw it. I'll just go right down the middle of the water. The trail will be up here somewhere. And if not, I'll make it to Hell's Hole. All right, well, I've made it to a place I'm going to call home for the night. I've logged 17 miles today. So that 12 miles that all trails said and that the sign at the trailhead said, it's not accurate. So, but I was hell-bent on getting to Hell's Hole, and I'm here. The sun's shining right in front of me, but from what I understand, Hell's Hole Cave is, you should be able to see it. Can't really look up there right now because of the sun. Can't see the cliff wall, but maybe in the morning. Found a nice little place to set up the tent. It's almost 6 o'clock, so we'll get started on that now and get everything done, grab some food, go to the water and get some water. And I'm tired. Whew, what a day. It's a pretty place though. All right. Get to work. All right, well, I'm at camp and I still haven't eaten. It took me a while to get water ready because my Be-Free filter was barely filtering. So I was able to get it cleaned out to where it was doing a little better, but that was a little crap moment. So anyway, let me show you where I started today. So I actually started right about here. That's where that little TJ Corral trailhead is, and I'll be coming down. So did a little road walk. Then I started on this West Fort Trail all the way to here, Hell's Canyon. I'm actually camped about right here. So that was the day. Supposed to be 12 miles. I ended up clocking 17. But I also added 2 from, just the extra stuff I did. But yeah, still a long day. So for tomorrow, I'm gonna get up and go up 268 to here and go through Woodland Park, which I'm really excited about. I think it's gonna be a really beautiful, just open kind of meadows and just wonderful area. Up to here, there's a little cabin in the woods right here called Pryor Cabin. I might go see that, might not, just depends on how I feel when I get there. Then we'll cut down 156 and then down this little place to the Meadows. And that's, from everything I've heard and read, an absolutely beautiful spot. So I'm excited to camp there tomorrow. It's supposed to be 12 miles tomorrow. I'm hoping that's accurate. We'll find out. So I still have not eaten, but I'm about to. One last thing. I forgot to show the campsite for the night. So there's a fire ring right over here. There's some tinder already in there and some wood, but I don't know if I'll make a fire or not. I'm super hungry. By the time I eat, I don't know how much daylight I'll have. But here's the campsite. Just cozied up in a nice little area around some ponderosas. Cliffs in the background. It's worth hiking 17 miles for. So anyway, I'm gonna eat now. And that's gonna be it for day one. I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning and welcome to day two. So I've already got everything packed up, ready to roll out of this campsite, eating breakfast, brush my teeth, good to go. Was a little chilly this morning, but it's already starting to warm up. So the reason I'm thinking that is because I got a water crossing just right there, and I'm afraid it's gonna be pretty cold right at the get-go. But that's okay. Today is just that initial crossing, and then I'm gonna climb up high into the cliffs, and I'm going along Woodland Park until I get to the middle fork of the Gila River, and then I'll be dropping back down to camp at the Meadows. Should be 12 miles a day. I really hope it's just 12 miles. We'll see. So this was a beautiful campsite though. Very, very peaceful place. And I think the Meadows is gonna be just as good. It's time to get on the trail. Oh boy, I was right. That little water crossing was up past my knees, and boy, was that freaking cold. So anyway, I'm crossing now though, and I shouldn't have another water crossing until I get down to the Meadows. But I do have a climb. You see up there, really the only climb of the trip, looking at the map. Going to climb up some switchbacks to get up top of there, and then I got another round of switchbacks to get up to the very top. And then the most of the day is just going to be kind of strolling along the park, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to put this away as I start climbing up the mountain. Cliff. It's a beautiful morning though. Well, I've already gained a lot of ground. I was somewhere camping way down in there. I've climbed a good bit. Still got a good bit more to climb. But slowly getting to the top. All right, well, I made it to the top. Not quite to Woodland Park yet, but I am on the, I guess, plateau. And look how open it is. How beautiful. You get all these ponderosa trees and just like little grass all through, you know? And you can tell if you look at this place, I mean, we get frequent fires here, clearly. I guess that's what keeps all the undergrowth down. But it really makes for a beautiful sight though. Super cool. Should be easy strolling now. Across the top through Woodland Park. Might do Pryor Cabin, might not. I'll tell you one thing though. I will forever refuse to believe that this is the same sun that shines down on Mississippi. Man, hits different. Across the trail junction. So Hell's Hole, 1.5 miles that way, which is where I came from. Woodland Park, 1.5 miles that way, which is where I'm going. Then Lily Park is 5 miles down that trail. Excuse me. Interesting thing about that, my favorite YouTube guy that I like to watch, My Own Frontier, he has an amazing video where he's out here for like 7 or 8 days or something like that. And he goes to all these spots. And Lily Park is an exceptionally beautiful area, at least from what I've seen from that video. But so is Woodland Park, and so is the Meadows. And that's where I'm heading. I'm watching My Own Frontier though. It's awesome videos. Well, how pretty is that? Actually packed out 3 liters from my campsite because I didn't know if there'd be any water up here. But it's actually this really pretty little pond. It's got a duck swimming in there. Well, I saw it a second ago. There's a duck in there somewhere. But yeah, pretty little pond. Probably best I still got water from the creek anyway, but still, very pretty. I'm in Woodland Park and it is very pretty. I mean, just so open. Definitely a cool area. Very different than yesterday, huh? Going between those canyons and in and out of water all day. And you're up here, going through these open woods, meadows type. Really pretty. There really are some really impressive mountains out here. Just looking out even further in the distance. I mean, there's plenty of peaks that are over 10,000 feet above sea level, which is pretty amazing for way down here in southwest New Mexico. So I think the middle fork is right there. You see the drop off. So I'm pretty close to a lookout that would look out over the middle fork and the meadows, and then I'll drop down into that area. All right, well, this should be an overlook of the meadows in the middle fork, and there's a beautiful campsite right here. Now, I'm not going to camp here. It's not quite 2 o'clock. And I'm gonna get down to the meadows. What is that bird? Is that a turkey vulture? Big bird soaring around through there. Maybe we'll get a look at over here. But yeah, this is a great campsite. Obviously it'd be a dry site, so you'd have to bring some water up. But man, it sure is gorgeous. Let's have a look. Yeah. I think this is gonna be a-okay. Holy crap. Wow. That's what you do the hike for. That is amazing. I guess the Meadows is right down there. Or maybe that's it right over there. I don't know. I'll figure out where the trail goes when we get down there. But anyway, yeah, that is, man alive. That is good stuff. Well, that was awesome and much needed. Seeing a big overlook like that, that got me excited, got me pumped back up. And now I'm just a mile away from the Meadows, all downhill. But it's not quite 2 o'clock, so I'm thinking when I get there, I'm definitely gonna take a break and eat a little bit, re-up some water. But kind of toying with the idea of like, should I just go ahead and camp there, or should I put a couple more hours behind me and find a campsite, down the Middle Fork? I don't know. Guess we'll see how it feels when I get down there. But it's so cool coming down, It's pretty neat. So yeah, feeling good. So I've reached the Meadows. The trail actually goes that way, but it looks like there might be a campground over here in the shade. I'll walk over there and take a look. It's about 2:30. I'm going to definitely take a break here, get a snack for sure, and then contemplate whether I want to knock down a few more miles or just stay here for the night. Yeah, this looks like a very, very pretty campsite. So, we'll see. Pitch the tent right there. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna take a break, so I'll do that now here in the Meadows. Well, even though this is a charming campsite, besides whatever that thing is, someone stuck on the tree up there. It reminds me of a Tree Detective, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. But no, this really is a great campsite, but it's not even 3 o'clock yet. I've eaten, drank more water, even though I cannot keep enough water down right now. It's just so dry. All the fluids are being taken out of my body. I'm almost fluidless. Not quite, I'm trying. But anyway, yeah, it's not even 3 o'clock, so I'm just gonna keep walking, man. Try to get to at least 4:30. See how things are looking by then. All right. I guess that means I'm about to get back in the water. Getting up to Woodland Park and all was neat, and being able to see a whole different ecosystem of this Gila Wilderness was definitely cool. But this is what this trip's all about. Towering cliffs, knee deep, up in water. That's it's awesome. This is really awesome. Alright, well, I'm running into something that's new on this trip. Didn't experience it going up the West Fork, not across Woodland Park, but when I got down to the Meadows, they started creeping up, and now I've gotten hit a couple times with them. That's how these big old black flies. Man, when they sting, kind of hurt. I've been popped a few times now, but I heard it buzzing. I don't know, nothing at the moment, so I guess we're good. Little bastards. All right. Well, that was a really good decision to bypass the meadows because I still had time to hike, obviously. But not only have I shortened my day for tomorrow, the middle fork of the Gila Wilderness is the gem of this entire trip, without question. It was beautiful. I'm still in it. But I was really glad that I got to experience a good portion of it without feeling the need to rush or anything, you know, like I probably would do to myself in the morning. So that was awesome. But I was thinking about 5 o'clock, I really need to start keeping out for our campsite. And right as it hit 5 o'clock, I found this one and it's fantastic. So I'm gonna turn the camera around, see home for the night, do a little map time, and then it's probably gonna be more me time at camp, and that'll be the end of day 2, but you never know. So anyway, let's see home. Well, here's my little cozy oasis for the night. The water is just right there. I'm gonna be sleeping under these gigantic cliff walls on both sides. So yeah, it's really kind of a sandy ground. It's gonna be nice, man. Hope to sleep like a baby tonight. She's ready. Okay, map time for day 2. So last night I ended up camping about right here. Never saw a Hell's Hole cave. But anyway, hiked, climbed up and over Woodland Park, across, down to the meadows, and that's where I thought about camping. I was like, no, let's keep going. And now I've been hiking down the middle fork of the Gila River. Not sure where I'm at. Probably going to be in this general area, maybe, but I'm not positive about that. So anyway, so I'm camped up in here, and then tomorrow, wake up, continue along the middle fork, then we'll catch this trail here, 729. I think it's also called Little Bear Canyon. Is that right? Yeah. I'm gonna take it all the way back down to here where my car is. That's correct. All right. Cool. Well, I'm officially holed up in my tent. It's not quite 7 o'clock yet, but I am super gassed. About to read a little Terry Goodkind Chainfire book. I don't know if it's 8 or 9 in the Sword of Truth series, so that's what I'm all about. And then hopefully go to bed very early. Bye. Good night on day 2. Hey, good morning on day 3 in the Gila Wilderness. And if you watch any of my videos, you'll know that as the days progress, I just get a little more and more wilder looking. So I'm almost at like peak extreme. But the heat out here, man, it's been zapping me. But anyway, it's almost 8 in the morning, not quite. I'm completely packed up and ready to hit the trail and get rolling on these last, what I'm thinking is probably gonna be about 10 miles. I'm not positive about that because mileage is, who knows out here. So I'm thinking it's probably about 10 miles though, of easy trail other than the water crossings. And I had the map out last night and I don't know if this is accurate, but I was just kind of counting how many times it crossed the Gila. And I counted 26 times just in this morning section that I have, if I'm where I think I am. So it could be more. But yeah, time to get started though, and see the middle fork of the Gila River some more. I don't think this camera actually truly captures how amazing these cliffs are. I mean, they are enormous. And as you're hiking, they're just hanging above your head, which is, I mean, look at that. That's incredible. Well, the sun hasn't quite found its way down into the canyon yet, but I can see it peeking its head over the cliffs there. I'm trying to. But for me, that means I've enjoyed a very nice and cool walk this morning. It's been awesome. Soon it'll get hot. That's okay. Right now it's been great. The Middle Fork continues to be awesome. Definitely the highlight of all this trip. There are spots where you'll cross the water and be like a rock bed or something. You kind of completely lose where the trail is. And you know, you gotta go a little slower because you're looking for maybe a footprint or some grass that's been pushed down, try to find where a path has been. But you figure it out. Man. Gila Wilderness, New Mexico. There we go. Light's starting to hit those canyon walls. And it makes a quite impressive scene. All right, my trail goes that way. But that's a spur trail. And I hear water rushing back there. So a motto of mine, I think I've said this in other videos, go see what spur trails have to offer. I got a feeling it's gonna be pretty good. Never pass a spur. So that spur trail was to Jordan Hot Springs, which is pretty awesome. I didn't realize I was already that close. So, Jordan Hot Springs is a little hot spring, obviously, and it looks like a little oasis right there, which is beautiful, clear water, and it's really, really gorgeous. I would have videoed a little bit, but there was a lot of people there. I was almost shook because I haven't seen hardly anybody these 3 days I've been out here, and then suddenly there's like, man, there's probably 10 people there. But I think, I don't know how far I am away from the end of the trail. Maybe I'm closer than I think, because they didn't look like they were camping. There's a couple kids there and all. So So maybe I'll start seeing more people as I get closer, people coming to the hot springs. But yes, that's why I didn't record it, but it was very, very pretty. Maybe Google Jordan Hot Springs, see some pictures. I did not get in because there's a amoeba in the water that has like a 96, 97% fatality rate. So they tell you not to duck your head under, but also if you have cuts or scrapes, maybe not the best idea. And from the bushwhacking I've done, my legs are kind of beat up, so it's not worth it. It's very pretty, cool to see. I wish I could have filmed it a little bit, but that's okay. I don't think those people would have liked some random stranger filming them swimming in the hot springs. But anyway, keep on checking. All right, I'm gonna cross some more water with me with that in the backdrop. Unbelievable. Ooh, a little shaky. Slip rocks. All right. And there's the shot. Last glimpses of the cliffs on the Middle Fork as I have crossed the river for the last time, and I am turning on to Little Bear Canyon Trail. So as you can see from that sign there, TJ Corral's a little over 4 miles away. That's where my car is. So we'll start down this little, I bet this is gonna be pretty though. Little canyon and back to the car. Well, I'm officially back into the super dry, super hot areas of New Mexico. No more sweet Middle Fork. Water crossings up to my knees, cooling me down, good stuff. But getting close to being out. Still really pretty though. I tell you one thing that never fails though, it still blows my mind. It's like a hiker's paradox. It doesn't matter what trail you are. You can start on an out and back from the bottom of a mountain up and down. Somehow, the trail finds a way to have you climb right there at the end. So that's what I'm currently doing. Climbing up, but I was looking at the map a second ago and I think it should be close to the top of this little climb, and then that's the end of it. Downhill shot for a couple miles back to the car. All right. Well, one thing about climbing though, you can't get the big pretty views without going up. That's a good one. I think that's probably gonna be a good swan song for the Gila Wilderness. Trail continues that way, and I believe it's about all downhill from here. Straight shot down to the trailhead. Wow, maybe one more video. Probably only about 1.5 miles away from the trailhead. That's a really good shot of some of these mountains. Man. Next stop will probably be the car. All right, I can see my parking lot. It's just right down there. So this will be a wrap on the Gila Wilderness. 2 nights, 3 days. Amazing, beautiful country. But it was without a doubt the Middle Fork. The Middle Fork is the gem of this place. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking about taking a trip out here, West Fork, super cool. Woodland Park, perfectly fine. The Middle Fork, man, just do that. It's amazing. It's an exciting hike. You know, you're going through water. I did notice from Jordan Hot Springs on out, I started seeing a lot more people. I didn't hardly see anyone the first 2 days, but so that's definitely a hot spot to go see. But still, you know, this is great, man. Yeah, Gila Wilderness, beautiful place. Go to the Middle Fork. That's an extraordinary, that's a gem, an absolute gem. So anyway, yeah, today is going to be cheeseburger and pizza. Windjammer is signing off.